What's up, everybody? Welcome back into the Dynasty Trade Show. We got a good one. We have some Godfather. We have a Godfather offer for Patrick Mahomes, so we'll dive into that. But first and foremost, if you like what you see here, you want to get a trade featured, patreon.com/South Harmon. $5 tier gets you access to the trade show. You get to show off, flex, or get roasted. We don't know which one's going to happen until you make the trade show, but the Discord is always popping. Adam, buddy. How you doing, man?
I'm
Godfather
good, man.
Mahomes offer? I'm excited.
Godfather
I don't even know
Mahomes
what the hell
offer.
it is.
Well, we're gonna see if you think it's a Godfather offer. For me in best ball, Mike, it was, but I think for Mahomes, I asked Blitz. I'm like, Blitz, listen, I don't give you a lot of tasks. Can you get me another Mahomes deal? He couldn't. 2 weeks in, so there's not many Mahomes deals to compare to either. So let's see what you think here, Mike. Start off with mine.
40 chess, yeah. 40 chess, 40 chess, let's get it.
Yo, is that T-Dog?
40 chess, 40 chess, hey. 40 chess, this a trade show. Patreon where the trades go. Tap in and watch, that's what you came for. Ain't gotta say my name, they know my name, bro.
What's good, man?
We got McNutted in ATM. Always start off the show with a trade from them. You should always make sure that your trade is in Patreon. Why not be a Patreon? Know you wish you could spend every day with them. Tap in and say what you gon' say with them. South Harmon can fill up a stadium. Next time you log in, make sure that you bring a friend. We about to kick off, let the day begin. Go follow the socials. 40 Chess FF is posted. If your trade is an F, you get roasted. Go like and subscribe for the crew. Apple, Spotify, and the YouTube. You know Cooper got the WoRP too. Let us give you a walkthrough. 40 Chess. This is 40 Chess.
There, you live at BDGE too. We'll be
Live
recording this baby. Look at that. I recognize that background.
NYC, man. There's a Debo picture. I tried to crop it out, but I didn't get it all the way out there. That's Debo.
You just cannot avoid Debo.
Apparently
Adam and Debo
not
same
at all.
Or one in the same. Has anybody seen Adam and Debo in the same room at the same time?
I think actually this is as close as it gets right here. A picture and me, you know.
I'm buying you a jersey for Christmas, by the way.
All right, Mike, we see it on the board here. 12 team. Don't you dare buy me a fucking Debo jersey. Don't you do
I'm
that.
buying you a Debo jersey, bro.
12 team Superflex, half PPR, half point tight end premium, 0.2 points per carry. It's a best ball start 12. The league is Dynasty Best Ball if you want to check out the WoRP for this one. So, Mike, here it is. I'm acquiring Patrick Mahomes. Now, this is a best ball league where we have about 33 roster spots, right? I'm getting Mahomes, and I'm sending away your favorite, Brock Purdy, and Kittle. So you get the cheap, gross San Francisco stack for Mike. For some people, they pay up for it. And then as well as a mid first. This first doesn't have a 103 shot, but it's like a 104 to 106, very realistic possibility, as well as a mid to early 25 first next year. So 4 for 1 here, Mike. Given the best ball principles, it's not the trade I would typically make. The reason I call it the Godfather offer, this is in lineup. Let's just call it what it is. This is in lineup. We're having a totally different conversation than best ball. Even in best ball, maybe you want the Mahomes side, but I'm curious what you think. Audience too, what do you guys think? Would you pay this for Mahomes in a best ball league, deep rosters, starting 12?
You know I hate Brock Purdy. That's what people say. He's decent enough, okay?
Yeah.
Best ball, he's going to make your lineup a few times here and there.
Right.
Realistically. This is a lot in a best ball. This is a Godfather offer in best ball. It really is. And, for people who just play lineup, I understand you may not be familiar with it, but you're talking about 4 pieces here, which are, first round picks or, borderline first round picks at worst, right? Like Kittle, Purdy. I think Purdy in best ball, I think I've said a billion times, is probably worth a first, realistically. Then you got a true mid. Like that, it's going to be a good player, right? That's going to be a Brock
receiver,
Bowers, a Neighbors, a Keon Coleman,
yes.
QB3 of this class. Like, it's going to be a good player.
Yep.
And then the 25 pick, too early to really project, but you'll kind of see it's a generic 25 pick at this point. So
yeah, it's definitely, Mike. I'll say this: you can't guarantee anything with the pick in 25. However,
right.
this is one of those. It's not a locked in early pick, but I would say there's probably a little more downside to the team in 25 than there is upside. So it's I'd say early to mid. Go ahead.
If I am properly roster constructed, right, and I got good depth and I built a good best ball team, not a lineup team that I took to best ball, and in lineup I think it would be good. In best ball, that team's usually shit. Sorry to break people's hearts here.
Right.
Listen, I am not an expert, but one thing I am very versed on is best ball and setting trends and figuring out. I mean, I dove deep into best ball. There's a reason I win championships in best ball, folks. This isn't me tooting my own horn. It just happens. I got receipts. If I'm properly constructed, yes, absolutely. I'm going to go get the hammer. I'm going to go get the WoRP advantage that is Mr. Patrick Mahomes. And now you're just seeing, I mean, today, Adam, we're recording this on Friday. Mark Andrews gone, hammer in best ball.
Well, it's Mike.
Joe Burrow out for the season, hammer in best ball. Trevor Lawrence, who we thought was going to be a hammer quarterback in best ball, has been playing like shit, absolute shit. These are running very, very scarce. And if I got one and you don't got one, even in best ball, Adam, where I can kind of make it up with turds, at some point, though, you just can't overcome when Mahomes decides to go for 30, 40, 50, 60, depending on your scoring. So
yeah,
I think I like it if I'm properly roster constructed. If I know you, Adam, you have the depth, you have the pieces to make it work. Now, if you're not, I would be clowning the shit out of you, right? Like, I'd be like, what are you doing? How are you giving up 4 first-round pieces or 4 really good pieces in best ball for one dude?
Right.
That would be insane.
Because to the Purdy point, okay, let me talk about Purdy from this lens, Mike. In best ball, you tend to really lean into it, which we all love. We all love you for it. And Purdy, honestly, I would say Purdy has a realistic, okay floor. Like, I'm not loving his floor, but in best ball, you put this guy as one of your quarterbacks. If I have a legitimate 3 or 4, like I'm not panicked on having a Purdy share, right? But he doesn't offer the upside that Mahomes does at all, really, in my opinion. Like, you just saw this last week, a week ago, he had one of his better weeks that he's going to have, Mike, right? And he goes at quarterback 7-ish in a lot of leagues. So we've all seen what Mahomes' upside is. So, Mike, let me just talk to you, though. The Andrews trade, or the Andrews injury. So I trade away this Kittle and Purdy stack here, okay? And I had 3 really good tight ends. So I have Kelce, I have Andrews, I have Kittle. So when I make this trade, I'm like, Kittle's booms are great, but if I have those 2, I love my tight end room still anyway. Now all of a sudden I have this Andrews injury out for the season. Part of the reason I make this trade I talked to you about earlier, and this is where you have to know your league, I think. In this league, Mike, as great as these picks look to a lot of people that play in dynasty leagues, they're not as easily moved, right? So the reason I say that is Mark Andrews is going to probably end up, I'm going to do everything I can to move him. He may very well end up on my roster because people are not, they're going to try to get me to trade him for nothing. So now all of a sudden my room, Mike, which normally I'd have this very deep tight end room, I had essentially, Andrews and Kelce, and I felt good enough about it. Now all I have is Kelce. And I still got Mahomes, but my roster construction, to your point, is good. But with injuries like Andrews this week, if I caught another maybe 2 or 3 injuries, all of a sudden I might actually be kind of wishing I know these are only 2 players, but if I had those first to go by other players, again, if I had 4 players versus Patrick Mahomes as the 1, like, is that a different thing for you in best ball? You know what I mean? When you start thinking about the injuries later in the year.
In the generic context, if I didn't know what your team is actually rocking with, yes, Adam, you're for sake of conversation, yes, that would be worrying some where you don't have the backfill of depth. But you also know, for me, best ball is one of the things that if it's a half-point tight end premium, even if it's a start 2 tight end with a half-point, these tight ends, man, I could find turds everywhere, and I could find usable turds in best ball all over, right? You know how many Tommy Trembles I've had make my lineup, just flop right in, and all of a sudden are matching.
Like, if I would have known this was coming, I would have cleared up one of the wide receivers I churned through at the bottom. I would have picked up Tanner Hudson or something. So I can still try to make those type of moves as they come available.
You still can, right? You can cut like a Marquise Goodwin.
I have a Marquise Goodwin is going to be dropped, actually. It's exactly the player, too.
You drop those kind of turds and you just pick up any tight end who's a guy who's going to get snaps.
Yeah.
And you just pray they fall into the end zone at some point. So having the hammer and Travis Kelce is one thing, and now you have the stack with Mahomes, which is amazing.
Right.
So the tight end depth, even losing Andrews, does it suck? Yeah, it sucks. It sucks losing Andrews, but you'll be fine. You'll be absolutely fine. And Adam, just so we're honest here, I can't believe this is a real fucking team that you have here. This is stupid. I see why you named it residual income as well.
Yeah, for those that don't know. Now, the thing is, Mike, hindsight's always 20/20. When I sent this offer, initially I tried with just one first. That was the early one, and obviously he's going to counter back with something. He sent this, and it was like I was thinking. Let me ask you if you would have rather tried this. If I send Andrews instead of Kittle here, like before the injury removed, would you rather send that and then see if you could send a piece that isn't an early 25 or something like that? Like that was the only regret I maybe try something like that.
Maybe, but you also know your league better than anybody else does, right? Some people just don't like draft picks, right? And they just don't value them. And apparently this league doesn't, because there's no way in hell you would end up with all these pieces you have on your team, which is stupid.
And let me
by the way, I'm actually... I feel bad that we're talking about this trade and that this one got featured. I know it's the thumbnail and everything, and I know you're my guy, but this is stupid, man. Like I'm actually angry that you're in a league that you could do this. You could pull this type of roster off.
It took 2 years, Mike. I was basically, Mike, everyone wanted to win so bad year one. I made myself rebuild. Last year, I found out the hard way that I didn't have enough quarterbacks. Kenny Pickett was my only quarterback because of injury, Mike, in Superflex. I almost count that as I don't have one in the playoffs. But now we're here. I'll say the Godfather part. This is something, Mike, on a serious note, though. This league now, because to the point you're making, my team is very good. They see that I do content. I have a hard time getting deals done in this league as a whole.
That's fair.
Now, when I text Jacob, the guy who sends this trade to me, I actually was just checking in with him to see how he's been. Like, we hadn't talked in a while. He lives in Ohio. Good friend of mine. So we talk, and I'm not really expecting to get a deal done. And somehow he was talking about, we don't have a lot going on outside of fantasy football, both of us, right? We're dads. Fantasy football comes up. He says he'd like to tear off Mahomes. I say I'm interested. He kind of keeps saying that he's not likely to trade him. You can send offers if you want, but nothing's going to happen. I said, listen, I get offers all the time declined. I'm not going to be upset if nothing gets done. Like, I'm not going to act like that's anything crazy. I wasn't even expecting a deal from him, Mike, to come my way that I would hit the accept button on. So even though I thought about nickel and diming, I just hit the accept button. And to the Godfather point, I think sometimes even when we have someone tell us that there's a deal that's not likely to happen or off the table, we might not explore that avenue because we think it's not going to happen. I think sometimes the reason I say it's a Godfather offer is you start talking about it and you actually make him an offer he can't refuse. He said he wasn't going to trade him to you. I never would have expected, Mike, the way Jacob and I talk shit in this league, that he would ever have traded me Patrick Mahomes. So sometimes I think you just have to go down a path which you don't expect a trade to happen.
That's fair.
And it may happen, So don't rule it out, I guess, from the beginning is my point.
This is ridiculous. This team, by the way, just to spoil the surprise for everybody. He's
Go
got
ahead,
Mahomes.
Go ahead.
Mahomes, Herbert, Lamar Jackson, Trevor Lawrence, and Russell Wilson in the best ball.
Yep.
And then just Trey Lance just hanging around for no god-awful reason.
I wish I could move him because he's just sitting there.
Running backs, Jonathan Taylor, Achane, Kenneth Walker, Austin Eckler, Javonte Williams, DeAndre Swift. Receivers, Amon-Ra, Aiyuk, Drake London, George Pickens, Terry McLaurin, Chris Godwin, and Travis Kelce at tight end. And he did have Mark Andrews, but that was gone for the season.
With Andrews
and
there,
somehow,
he's feeling really good.
For whatever god-awful reason, you still have a 24 first. Like, how?
I do. And it's, Mike, you know why? It's someone that in the league projects to be good, and a lot of the league treats that like leprosy. This is a pick nobody wants,
This is fucking stupid.
Yeah, so we'll keep it for now. We'll see if it ends up getting moved. But, Mike, I'll tell you this much. If this league, it's like the Titanic, man. If you can sink this ship, I have bad luck. I'm the bad luck guy. All right, let's get into another deal here, Mike. Slenmo and Waddling Tuna. So we're talking about 2 Savage members here. Wow. This trade, Mike.
It's brutal.
I remember seeing this come through.
I'm crying.
Let me just go ahead and put the let me go ahead and say it for the podcast listeners. It's Josh Dobbs and Jared Goff for a 24 and 25 first, which are coming from the team that's acquiring those 2 players. So Just to let everybody know, it's waddling Tuna's first in 24 and in 25. Acquiring Jared Goff and Josh Dobbs. We were just talking about Josh Dobbs here at BDGE, Mike, and I think there's a scenario where he ends up earning a role as a starter or a chance to compete at minimum next year. Maybe if you talk the rosy upside, like he would get a Geno-type contract, right? He gets a deal that basically looks like a 3-year, but they can get out of it in 1 or 2 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
I like that. And I also like the fact that he's a guy that has a little bit of a rushing floor. And I also think Jared Goff's worth more than a first, but I don't think I can pay these 2 first, man, including my flexibility and liquidity to get these 2 quarterbacks in best ball, man. As much as I'll talk about those 2 situations, I can't pay this. I can't do it.
Welcome to Slim Mo, taking what I used to do with QB hoarding and just taking this to the demonic level.
Right.
Like,
this is the 5D, man. This is demonic. This is not.
When the pupil becomes the teacher, I guess this is what this is. I'm in this league, and I saw this shit go through, and I was like, "What? You got to be fucking kidding me!" And you put a wow emoji, and then here's the thing, Adam. It's a dynasty league. Everybody wants to chirp about it. Nobody said shit. It was amazing.
Really?
I thought this league, I thought we were going like, look at all these adults, right? We just laugh and then we move on, right? Nobody said shit because I was like, okay. And then a trade goes down today and like somebody loses their fucking mind.
Then you got the peanut gallery, huh? They're back.
Then you got the peanut gallery, right?
I love that. Actually, Mike, you know what? You started talking about my team and I'm like, all right, man, like, well, this is going to get embarrassing here, sitting here, talking about how ridiculous that team is in best ball. So I moved on. I forgot about a point that I wanted to make earlier. So, Mike, to the chirping, and that's what reminded me. I will say we play in so many leagues at this point. Like, there's not a lot. There's so much different type of chatter, different shit talking, people that have different whatever reactions in Dynasty. So I'm kind of used to a lot of it. One of the things that I've been finding more and more in a lot of my leagues is this, I call it Monday morning quarterback of trades. Yeah. Like the trade is completed and you see just what I would have given you way more, like all these different reactions after the trade is done. I would have offered you this, or I did offer you that. You start hearing all these woulda, coulda, shouldas, or offers that were offered 2 weeks ago, a month ago, whatever. And there's not much you can do to that. I've been thinking about this for a while because I was on the receiving side of Mahomes in that last one, Mike. Here's your counter. If you have this type of stuff in your league, okay, and you just, it kind of gets annoying. It gets to the point of past what is normal. Mike, you know what you do? Mahomes goes right back on the block. All right, I'll take that offer. And all of a sudden, when those offers don't come running in, less than 5 hours later, right? Man, I've been waiting for these Mahomes offers. I was ready to smash accept, and it's one way I think to put a little bit of closing to that narrative, which is just like this. We live in this pretend land,
We had Thomas Tipple on, and I just had him on the spotlight, which is great. And Thomas and I made a big trade.
Go check that one out. By the way, it was an awesome one. I listened to that in the airplane.
He's a G, man. I love that guy.
Yeah.
We had a trade in a league, and of course the chirping started. Like, I can't believe you gave him such a sweetheart deal. And actually, like right now with the draft picks I gave to Thomas, and the way my team's performing in this league, it's not looking good. Like, I'm struggling to make the 6th seed.
Really?
Like, I'm fighting tooth and nail. Yes.
Oh man.
But anyways, Thomas was like, "Oh yeah, the guy said he would have given at least 3 firsts for this player." So I was like, "Oh, thanks," in the DM. So I went right over to him and I offered him that same fucking player Thomas just gave for 3 firsts. And he was like, "Oh, I didn't mean it like that." I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's what I thought. Shut the fuck up."
Listen, it's just to the point we're making here. If you're gonna talk about it, be about it. Right, Mike. We'll sit up here and we'll talk our shit. I'll talk all my losses, okay? Actually, when I was here last, there was a horrible Deshaun Watson trade I made. I made trades for Akers. I'll sit up here and let you talk shit about those. But if I say something, I'm going to go do it in the streets in my leagues. So at least be about it if you're talking about it.
Yeah, and you got me out here being petty as shit. Like, remember them Christian Watson comments for us talking shit about it?
What's great is I put that.
I didn't forget.
I put that X tweet up there, so I wasn't gonna go as petty as Mike. I just was like, I told all y'all. in the summer, Christian Watson was overvalued. And then I put the, if you're reading this, it's too late. Mike went back to the actual person that talked shit 4 months ago. He found him in the YouTube comments, and that's petty.
Well, that's a shout out to one of our listeners. So one of you out there, they went back and commented on that short. They went back and commented.
Oh, did they?
Like, this aged perfectly, right? And not a lot of times do people want to go and give us our props when we're right.
They'll remember the other ones.
Everybody wants to find the receipts of when you're wrong. So
yeah,
I just went back and put a laughing emoji, and then while I was there, I was looking at the comments, and one of them was this big long, "Do you even watch football?" Which at the time, Adam, I had responded with, "I've never seen a game in my life."
I saw, by the way, you put it on Twitter. I saw the whole thing. Love the hi. I'm back.
I was like, well, while I'm here, Adam.
Timing, Mike, of this deal is pretty great because I put out, a short, Mike, for the YouTube Shorts and TikTok, and this is going back, gosh, this is April, I think, May, maybe, in that range. And it was I put out the ATM, the old ATM, right? You put the deal comes into you and how you can counter it back and how you could try to get an extra piece. And Mike, I guess not to anyone's surprise, there was, the amount of chirping, this is how you get punched, this is how you get, kicked out of your league. It's never gonna work. They're gonna know what's coming. Mike, here we are. Friday, November 17th. You're gonna be watching this on Saturday the 18th. You're talking half a year later, and in Savage type people, like they're literally, everybody knows at this point, supposedly. They're still getting it done. Sometimes we get it done in leagues that people listen to us and can know about the eight. Like, it's amazing to me. -1. Okay, that's fine.
T-Rock tried to pull the ATM on me.
You
this week.
I heard about this. He was very upset. You pulled the wool out from under him. I like it.
I did. As soon as I sent him a counter, and I saw that T-Rock has proposed a trade.
So you
in
just
the
withdrew
same
yours,
league,
right?
And I was like, "Well, fuck you, T-Rock." I went and declined the counter, and I withdrew the offer.
Other one? Yeah.
You can't pull the ATM on me.
Dang. So
I was here when it was invented.
No, you can't get the ATM over. But anyway, for those listening that are either new or don't know the extent, essentially if an offer comes into you and you're thinking about taking it, but you don't know either it's not enough for you to either hit the smash button or you just have this gut feeling that you can get more from the other player. So instead of hitting the counter button, if you're worried that maybe you send a counter back, and sometimes if a deal for somebody, they're giving you their best offer or close to it, and you send back a counter, it can become, offensive. People can get real offended, Mike. And then next thing you know, the whole deal's off the table. To avoid that, you kind of, instead of hitting counter, you go make a new trade with all the pieces in that initial deal. You add what you're looking for or tweak it how you'd like so that you essentially, if they hit decline on that, you can go hit the accept button on the offer that you were thinking about taking. Mike, to the point here. So what we have here, we're getting Jared Goff, Amon-Ra St. Brown. So you're getting the stack and a second in 2025. You're sending away CeeDee Lamb, Jordan Love, and a 24 first from Dorsey B. My understanding is this 24 first is pretty late, locked in. It's a team that's going to be a buy. So as this is happening, Mike, let me give everyone and you the context here, okay? Because I was actually helping Antho Honcho get this deal done, and I'm curious what everyone thinks about it. 12-team Superflex, full PPR, lineup start 10, FF supporters league for those wanting to check out the WoRP. So, Mike, this deal was sent structure-wise exactly as it is with no second. And when you're Antho Honcho, he was wanting to get off of the Jordan Love asset because he's worried about the future of it and also scoring points this season. Not liking what he has there. Amon-Ra St. Brown and CeeDee Lamb, while I would lean CeeDee Lamb, they're close enough for me in a tier that it's not enough to make me not want to have the Jared Goff side for sure. You also get a chance to stack by having these two. The 24 first definitely makes it a little bit trickier, but in a lineup start 10, I was willing. The reality is, though, I thought you could get something else. He tried to send back, Mike, instead of the 24 first, he wanted to send back 2 seconds. And that essentially didn't get done. And I think one of the big things I told Antho this, and I think, Anthony, the reality is this. When you sometimes see a deal like this come through, Mike, you can counter back and say, okay, I'll get him close to that first. I'll send him 2 seconds. But I think it's really important in counters to pay attention to the structure that is sent to you by a specific manager. Because A lot of times they're telling you what they want in this regard, right? So I said, okay, if he doesn't take those 2 seconds, you send him back this trade. This is a guy that's rebuilding. You're going to get his 25 second. You're sending a 24 first late this year. Okay, I'll live with that swap, man. You know, I'll live with that swap if I need to go get my Jared Goff quarterback. That's what ended up getting done in the second ATM offer he sent. So curious your thoughts on the whole deal, and then what your take is on understanding the structure of the deal and keeping it sometimes how they want it.
Yeah, you kind of want to play in their sandbox, right? But you want to play in their sandbox in a way that you get the toys that you actually want.
Yeah.
Nothing I love is more than making people feel like they got one over on me, even though it's structured exactly the way I wanted it to be structured. But I want you to feel good about it too, because then you're going to come back to the store at some point, right? I don't want it to feel rough or aggressive. Right? Like I got
unless
one
it's
over
with
on you.
T-Rock,
So,
then maybe you do.
yeah, well, then you just establish the alpha with him. So that's pretty simple for me. But so if I were to break the deal down, plug your ears, fizzle. Amon-Ra and CeeDee Lamb is a wash.
Ooh.
Plug your ears, fizz. Sorry. Just don't listen to that part. I told him earmuffs, okay?
In fairness, you know he turned the volume up, but I love it. Right. Let's go. Keep going.
he turned the volume up. It's a wash, or pretty damn close to a wash, however you want to do it. Jared Goff way over Jordan Love.
Yeah.
And then you got a second back, but you did send a first. And I don't think it's not a late first, Adam. It's actually probably mid to early.
Oh,
to be completely honest.
He was telling me more mid to late. Actually, the text I believe said mid to late, and that's where I was.
Yeah.
Now, it's not early, right? There's no 103 chance. I would have told him no way in the hell. There's 103 chance.
Yeah. Right now, Dorsey B is 5-5. He's towards the bottom of the league. There is a guy 0-10 and a guy who's 1-9, but the guy in third place is 4-6, and the guy in fourth place is 4-6.
Okay,
so he's one game out. Dorsey B is also rocking a quarterback room in a 12-team start 10 Superflex league. Adam of
I'd
Baker
imagine
Mayfield.
It's not good anymore.
Baker Mayfield
and Jordan Love, right? Yep. Ooh.
No.
He moved Jordan Love.
This is somebody else's pick. Art style.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're talking about the Dorsey B team. Yeah. Gotcha.
Yep.
So it's just Baker.
He's just got Baker and Dorian Thompson-Robinson, I guess.
DTR. There you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
So he's kind of suffering from shit right now with the most important position in a 12-team start 10 Superflex league. So there's a good possibility, Adam. I'm not going to say it's going to be the 103 because some of these other teams are pretty shitty, and probably have won some games that they shouldn't have. But quarterback-wise, he's definitely hurting and struggling. So it could end up the 103. It looks more like a 104, 105 range pick, so kind of in that mid-range.
Yep. Good.
I will say, though, I think the up tier from Love to Goff almost requires or necessitates at this point
a first, yeah.
A first. And if you were told me I get the second back, like, I'm good with this. Right? I get a receiver in the same range. I don't really lose too much there in production, WoRP, whatever you want to say.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I get a pretty big upgrade from Jordan Love, especially in the consistency department, to Jared Goff. And future outlook department
both,
in
right?
Jared Goff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think you feel better and more secure this year, more stable to your point. It's not like elite upside, but it's top 12 weekly upside, right? And you feel pretty good about being in that top 15, 18 almost weekly. Jordan Love, I don't feel confident that he's guaranteed to be a quarterback 2 every week. So, but the future outlook too, to your point, right? Like Jordan Love, we don't know. I'm not saying he won't start somewhere, but it's an unknown. It's a Baker Mayfield type situation all of a sudden. Is he going to start? Possibly. Is he guaranteed to? No. Jared Goff, we know is. The one thing I will say, as long as that pick, Mike, is not at 103, I would say I'm okay with it.
If it becomes 103, now you're shitting your pants.
What I was more on the understanding that maybe it was like a 106 with a chance to sneak in the playoffs. I really like it there, right? Now, as long as it's 104 and later, I'm still good with it. I'm okay with it. If it becomes a 103 pick, if it somehow was able to thread that needle, then you're going to not want that side as much. I guess still understanding all that, like if this helps you actually win a title, like if you said you don't really know what Jordan Love's going to be, if Jared Goff and having the stack get you a title, it would still be worth it. But that 101 to 103, Mike, is just so different in this class, what you can buy. And I think if it had a realistic chance to be that, and it does, you might have decided to try to hold to buy something better. It would be the only thing is if it actually is a 103 pick.
I'm with you. It's cool. We got this cool ass South Harmon simulator tool, so I can tell you where it's projected right now.
Let's do it.
They're projecting them to be in the playoffs.
See,
but
that was my understanding but I again, that is what it is.
It's not by much, right? You got a lot of teams in that 5 through 8 where Dorsey B is going with about the same record, same amount of wins, same amount of points. Points for during that time. Poor Dorsey B, though. He's got one of the lowest points for projected in there. So maybe it's just a schedule thing that the simulator's trying to figure out. He's got some other easy matchups. So
as long as
a lot of that factors in.
As long as he doesn't hit that smaller percentage, it sounds like, that is realistic, that could happen. As long as he doesn't hit that and thread the needle, I'm good with it. All right, Mike. Cody. Sleeping Cody.
He's awake.
He's awake? Well, is he? Joe Mixon in a second, Mike. Or Saquon Barkley and Michael Gallup. So this is a 12-team Superflex. It's a lineup, start 10 league. The Fantasy Draft Room Listener League. Look at these guys, man. They got a Listener League going. I love this. Mike, I love that they got the Listener League going. I like that Cody's making a trade. Before I reveal, what do you think of the trade? Do you love the trade or no?
It's okay. It's okay. I mean, both of these guys, Mixon actually, I don't know, he's looked decent-ish lately. Well,
This is also, admittedly, today we find out that Joe Burrow's out for the season. So when this deal was done, it was before that. Now,
so now his situation is just as shitty as Saquon Barkley for the rest of the year.
That was what I was going to say. Okay, and I talked about this. If you could pivot from Saquon and stay in a range where you're getting a good chance to get a running back that's going to score well in the final part of the year that has a reason to play, I'm okay with it. And you get the second, like that's not a slam dunk for a Saquon Barkley trade, but I think it was an okay pivot, right? Like it was just a de-risking type pivot to make this move because Mixon has had he's had a couple weeks which he showed burst and had some upside, but by and large he's been actually pretty damn quiet all season. Now when you talk about this team, Mike, is now clearly in the last place of the AFC North with no Joe Burrow. They may end up being more of the team that's, I don't know if they're going to be as bad as the Giants are, but in the same regard, which is the whole panic of Saquon and Barkley if you were going to trade off of them, or fear. I won't even say panic, but fear of having Saquon not play down the stretch of the fantasy football playoffs. So hindsight's 2020. You didn't know that making the trade. So I guess I understand what he was doing. I would have liked to pivot somewhere else if I could have, but if this is the deal you get done, I don't hate it. I don't love it, but now all of a sudden you're in the same situation, but you have Joe Mixon instead of Saquon Barkley.
Mm-hmm. And the second projects to be late, right? 211, 212-ish range, like one of the best in the league. So if I'm doing that, like I'm Big Patty, I think I want the Saquon side, because if I'm looking at it too, like I'm going realistic outcome, who's got the better situation in 2024? Joe Mixon will be back with the Bengals and just as inefficient as he's always been as of late. And Saquon is potentially going to be a free agent. And, you know, there's teams out there we'd love to see Saquon in, right? High-powered offenses.
We'd
love to see him go to Houston. McCaffrey. We'd love to see him go to Buffalo. We'd love to see him go,
Like Christian McCaffrey, obviously it would be a trade, but same idea. He was either injured or not doing as much. When you sent an asset like Christian McCaffrey, that type of a talented back, and you put him in a situation like San Francisco, now that's one of the best out there, but like Saquon Barkley, to the point, the Giants are one of the worst situations this year, and he's just such a good talent that he's still, like, you know, performing reasonably well despite the awful situation, and has got decent enough floor touches. He's so talented. Like, if this guy went to an offense that was really good, there's a totally different ceiling. To the point you made, Joe Mixon in a pretty damn efficient offense over time. This year, obviously, there was Burrow hurt. In the early part of the year, they weren't as good. So he's a year older, though. And Mixon's already a guy that I think if I'm not like locking in a title, I'm looking to move anyway. So I understand the process. I'll say that. I understand the process. I don't think I would have done it because I don't think I can get in enough back for Barkley in the process before the Burrow injury. So now that you have that, it's pretty clear that you'd rather have the Saquon side. I think beforehand you can make a case either way. The problem is with Mixon, Mike. This is the thing. When you have a running back asset you're getting back like Mixon, there's no room for error, and all the downside is on that asset. Like, so Burrow gets hurt, right? Mixon now, he has no outs because he's not young. We've all seen that he's getting older and showing that he's lost a step. You get the second back, but knowing it's late, I guess it depends on who's in this listener league and what they're going to let you do, truthfully.
I mean, even if you look at WoRP, though, for the year, and I know we just had a situation change, but Saquon was still a top 10 WoRP running back in this league, and Joe Mixon is in the 20s, like 22nd.
There's no question Barkley was beating Mixon this year as far as that goes, but the fear of the playoffs, I guess, was understood. But, man, to your point, like, you think
tough.
about what the WoRP was and now this situation, that's a tough trade. Sorry, Cody. You weren't sleeping, but maybe you would have rather been. Jameer Gibbs.
I'm not really sorry, though. Like, I had to pay him an Evan Stewart jersey because of Brock Purdy, so, like, he deserved this one.
Mike, it's like, you still be polite to people. Sorry, like, but you should have been asleep. Sorry, buddy. Better luck next time. Jameer Gibbs, Mike, and Travis Kelce straight up. Interesting part about this deal. A couple things to me. One, there's no tight end premium listed. I guess we might be able to find that out through our sources. Because no tight end premium at all, Mike, would be very, very interesting, frankly, given that this trade was made in the last week. So it wasn't like maybe you didn't have this Jameer Gibbs showing what he did with Montgomery out there, but you saw the weeks before that where, holy shit, this guy's looking dangerous. So 14-team league, Superflex, full PPR, lineup start 10. It's the Onion League is the name of the league if you want to check out the WoRP. Mike, do we have an idea? Is it tight end premium? If this isn't tight end premium, Mike, and I like Kelce a lot. You know how much I care about him, and I like to have him in my tight end premium leagues. He still is a difference maker in non-tight end premium leagues. But in a full PPR lineup start 10 without tight end premium, this is Gibbs for me, man.
We're doing a little digging here.
Okay.
We're gonna find out.
Because if it's a heavy tight end premium or like a decent one, I can understand it. I don't know that I would like to do it, but I could give a little more understanding to it.
Doesn't look like it is, Adam. Doesn't look like it is.
I'll tell you one thing, man. Slow down 05. Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't have nothing here.
If you don't, like, let's just pretend, you can keep looking. If this is a no tight end premium league, I could absolutely see this getting done when Montgomery was looking like the back and someone panics on Gibbs, right? The timing of this one, though, how? Gibbs right now, the last 3 weeks, especially how he played the week versus this last week when Montgomery came back. The usage, I guess he was getting, I should say. Like, he hasn't played poorly. It's really been the usage, right? That type of usage, that type of upside, man, this guy's looking like possibly one of the most dangerous, if not the most dangerous back in the league right now.
Man. The WoRP for it, actually, though, isn't so bad for tight ends.
Well, I mean, if you look at non-tight end premium leagues, the WoRP isn't going to change all that much because the differential is still per position. But it's not down the list as far as it's not down relative to the other positions.
Yeah, like TJ Hawkinson's a 6th overall player.
So then it's got to be some level of tight end premium.
I would imagine.
Okay, well then
Kelce comes in at 15th.
Okay, so this has to be a tight end premium to some degree, Mike, because if it's that high as a skill player, I can totally understand it. If tight end premium is effective enough where Kelce gives you both difference maker at that position and it's like, scoring well relative to just all the skill players, I can understand it a lot more if you wanted to go win a title.
Right. I'm still scrolling. Mark Andrews was, RIP Mark Andrews, was 22nd. So we had that going for it. I'm still trying to find Jameer Gibbs on this list.
Well, his WoRP is not going to be good. If you filtered the last 3 weeks, you could probably get a different situation.
Let's just look at the last 4 weeks. How about that? We won't cherry pick 3 weeks. We'll look at 4.
Give him four.
He's been playing well compared to the tight ends. Yikes. There's got to be a tight end premium, man. Has to be.
Well, Mike, as soon as you start telling me they're that high up, it's tight end premium for sure. Some degree.
Because TJ Hawkins is the number 3 player in the last 4 weeks in WoRP.
No, he did come off that insane week. Was it last week, right? But
Yep.
to the point
Dalton
you're making,
Kincaid, though, also top 9.
it's tight end premium, dude. Mike, I would argue this is not just tight end premium. This is some sort of fairly high one.
Jahmyr Gibbs comes in at 11th here if you just look at the last 4 weeks. Travis Kelce, 25th.
Okay, so here you go, right? This is kind of to the point, though, that I'm making. Let's assume, Mike, it's a tight end premium of at least a 1.75. Let's even say probably more like 2-ish, okay? The reason I want to talk about it is at this point, you could say to yourself, I want to win a title. I think Kelce gives me that. The reality, I guess, would have to understand, it's 14-team, right? So, and that could play into the WoRP a little bit too. The difference makers, like down the line, get worse and worse in lineup. It becomes a play where now you're getting rid of Gibbs, who's actually playing well currently and going to be a WoRP difference maker himself, regardless of tight end premium, because he's a very good running back and he's getting the usage and he's getting even usage in the goal line, Mike. So I think Gibbs has both the ability to do what Kelce does for you and win, as well as gives you more value insulation in trade later. So I think even in heavy tight end premium, I probably, knowing what I know today, would want Gibbs. Mike, if you told me this is 4 or 5 weeks ago, I say I could understand going for Kelce and I wouldn't even hate it. But now I think I want Gibbs still in a vacuum. The only thing in lineup, Mike, is you can probably still find a way to get other running backs that are not as highly valued as Gibbs if the rest of your team is built well. So I know I'm kind of him and hawing. I'm leaning Gibbs, but I can understand it from both sides.
Man, interesting. Both of them, too, are competitors, right? They're both sitting at 6 and 4 towards the top of the league.
Ooh. The true competitor trade down the stretch.
True competitors. The interesting one for Trotsky, right? He gets Travis Kelce, but he's been really enjoying what Sammy Ballgame's been doing. Also a plus WoRP option, surprisingly, at tight end. So if you're in that situation, if you were Trotsky, like, are you going out and trying to acquire Travis Kelce if you've been enjoying what Sammy Ballgame's been doing for you all year? And by giving up Jahmyr Gibbs, that's kind of tough, ain't it?
I don't think so. Mike, I don't think so. Like, what's interesting about this deal, the more and more you think, right? It's tight end premium heavy enough that you could make the case to go get a difference maker. And you could say, I want to go get a hammer running back down the stretch, right? Those are both positions I think that we both know we can go without in a lineup league and be just fine. But they're trading across those positions that you both don't have to have. So I think it's like, it's kind of a dealer's choice, a preference of who you want. The context definitely, though, of having LaPorta for me, I'm probably trying to trade LaPorta, frankly. But, I don't think I want to double dip at tight end. So unless you plan to trade LaPorta now or something, you can get a haul back, which I doubt happens. That doesn't make sense to me personally.
I think I'm going to go with the slowdown side here.
I agree. I'm with you. Yep.
I think for me, I'm really going for the Jahmyr Gibbs side. Not that Kelce's bad or anything like that, but think about the amount of outs and now doing a little bit of investigating on slowdown's team. Like he had Deshaun Watson, just got kicked in the balls in a 14-team Superflex league. Like, good luck replacing even a shitty quarterback for this year like Deshaun Watson, right? So he's going to have Matt Stafford, but he has no other starting quarterback. 14-team Superflex, Adam. Like, this is start 10. This is tough. This is a tough thing. So you get off of already an older asset into one that's probably a little bit more safe, right? Jahmyr Gibbs is going to have value next year.
That's Mike. So this is the thing, right? If both assets on a contender, this is kind of the way I play about it. I've gotten away, Mike, from the days of holding on to chips as we really get leaning into the playoffs to just feel like you have security next year. Like, that's not the way I want to play, okay? And I hope to make this clear for people listening. I'm not talking about being a coward and not pushing in and not trying to go win a title. What I'm talking about is knowing that both of these pieces likely have, down the stretch, equal opportunity to be difference makers and help you win. But if I have to pick between both assets that have the ability to help me win, a tiebreaker will always be what is the value of them in the market, and then also who's a willing buyer. One of the things about Kelce, I say that I always have to hold him is what? He's never going to mean as much to you as he will to other teams. Even then, let's say you found him. There's only going to be a select amount of teams that will take on Kelce. Jahmyr Gibbs right now, the way he's playing, Mike, is going to appeal to damn near every team in your league. And if they both were to get hurt today, who is more easily tradable and will you acquire for a bigger haul back? Jahmyr Gibbs.
I'm with you, partner. Jahmyr Gibbs for me on this one.
Yep. So, I mean, the tight end premium, though, made a big difference, Mike. If that was no tight end premium, man, I was going to be like, what are we doing? All right, Mike. Christian Kirk, we talk about it. Always disrespected. Calvin Ridley has one good week in week 1. People don't want to admit how bad he's been since. Christian Kirk, seemingly always a value. Would you rather have 2 seconds or Christian Kirk in the bomb squad? It's a best ball start 11, 12-team Superflex, 2 tight ends, full PPR with a 0.75 tight end premium. Mike, 2 seconds, 1 in 25, 1 in 26, mind you, or Christian Kirk?
2 opposite ends, right? Like it always feels like 2 Mr. Wonderfuls on here making good deals that are fair for both sides, right? I never see him coming on here and flexing with his deals, but they always seem very good. And maybe it's because I made so many with them, but they make sense for both teams. If I'm Jay Money and I'm competing and I need to add some pieces to my roster, for this title push, Christian Kirk for a 25 and 26 second, there you go. I will purchase in a best ball league. By all means, I will do that.
Yeah.
Also, though, if I'm Mr. Wonderful and I'm not competing and I have a Christian Kirk on my team, this isn't the safest asset, right?
Yep.
Right. And I just want to shed some points off my roster and try to get a better draft pick for this year. Yeah, I'll take your 25 and 26 second. Here you go. Have Christian Kirk. I'm going to ask for a first, but most people are going to tell you to piss off. Right. And I'm going to try. You got a 24 second and a 25 second I can get? Do you got 2 24 seconds? Nope. Do you got 2 25 seconds? Nope. All right. Well, I'm still going to take 26 second if I think this league's going to be around. Right?
Mike, I feel like this is coming off the back or a trade that was made somewhat recently after we talked about in a team that's not ready to go, getting liquid, getting multiplying in best ball especially. Although Christian Kirk's not a terrible asset, he's kind of stagnant as far as his ability in Dynasty to gain a bunch of value, right? He could be a value to a team in best ball because he's going to give you more production than his Dynasty value offers, right? The problem is there is no upside for his Dynasty value to really gain, and there is downside if he was to get hurt. Those 2 seconds, they give you multiplication, and you can get off the points. So I think it was a good trade. I will say, though, Mr. Wonderful, while I might give you some credence and some credit, you never sent me back a counter. You disrespected the fuck out of me in that last offer. You never sent me one back, and that's exactly what karma looks like, buddy, because Joe Burrow now is out for the season, and you could have got off of him for a big-ass deal, and instead, I'm getting you on the trade show for a different deal and putting your ass out here. Fuck that. Love you, buddy. Had to do it.
Oh, man. The petty.
Hey.
The petty.
Mike, I should be the one here having Joe Burrow like, oh, man, I just traded my A-Rich and plus, and now I got Burrow. Instead, you get clowned. What's going on, Mr. Wonderful? Welcome to the show.
This man went like full Shane Gillis here. Like Shane Gillis. And I got Christian to do that too yesterday, and I was so happy. I gave him all the XP in the world, right? Hey, this Shane with the red Subaru, you guys fucking suck at your job, dude.
Yeah.
I'm going to come down there and beat the fuck out of you.
Yep.
You better stretch because I'm going to wear you out.
I bet you Mr. Wonderful is like, yeah, good. I'm glad. I didn't want to move him anyway. Well, you didn't. Good.
Love it. Though I like this deal for both sides.
All right. Let's go right back to the well, Mike. 2 seconds. These 2 and 24 or Isaiah Pacheco. Now, this is difference here is a lineup start 9, 12-team Superflex, full PPR, half-point tight end premium, real NFL coach league. Pacheco, 2 seconds, 24. What do you got?
See, Isaiah, I hope you pack your shit. If I'm not competing, I don't need you. But even, like you were saying earlier, if I was competing at him, shit.
Yeah.
Let me get these seconds. Maybe I'll go buy some other running back, some stopgap. That would be similar to Pacheco, plus I'd net a second. Why not?
That you just hit it. I think, Mike, as much as I do like Pacheco, and I think he's solid. I think he's solid and he has upside. I don't think I can hold Pacheco even for these 2 seconds because I think I'll be able to have a couple weeks of flexibility, and I can probably still go buy a replaceable level player if I need to. So I'll take the 2 seconds here. Either way. Christian, I hate to tell you that's his deal, but good job. All right, 12-team Superflex, full PPR, Mike. Full tight end premium of a 0.2 points per carry. Lineup start 11. Dynasty deviants. All right, Mike. Isaiah likely being dealt. This deal is before the injury, okay? So Isaiah Likely, Josh Downs. Oh my goodness, man.
What is this shit?
Brooks from Miami, a 24 fourth for just like you get Devontae Adams and Higbee for this? Like, I don't understand.
Are we being trolled?
I think so. Ivory Iverson. This is ridiculous. And who is Action SJ12? Who are these people? Mike,
welcome to the Patreon.
Mike, if you told me that this is Isaiah Likely after the Andrews injury, I'm still not having enough. And we know that's not the case by timing. It just happened yesterday. Blitz sent me these deals on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Stop it. Stop it. Ivory, congratulations. You live in your ivory tower. This Mike, maybe this is a new patron. I don't know what to say about these deals at the end of the show where it's like, all right, like I want to have a discussion. I want to have one last discussion with Mike before he goes and gets drunk with his family. And, I probably get drunk here in New York. And what do we got? This is I don't listen. I'm not the most secure in Adams' value as a contender because he hasn't been smashing. However, what's the downside here on the other side, man? You lose Josh Downs, like okay, fine, I don't care. You can have here's Josh Downs. Maybe something great happens with Josh Downs, but I've seen that good enough that this is probably in his range of ceiling-ish. You know, I'm perfectly fine taking Adams. I also get Higbee here too.
It's interesting. If Ivory Iverson is the new patron, welcome to the Patreon. Glad you got to come on here and flex. This was an easy win for you. Now the world's going to know, the 1,000, 2,000 people who watch this video.
Right.
Should be more. Tell your friends, tell your family, like and subscribe, do all that stuff. They're going to know how badly you got this person over. Now, I always I have a little apprehension too because if the new patron's Action SJ, welcome to the Patreon. We got some work to do.
Welcome to the shit show. You know how it is. We don't sugarcoat shit. You can't sugarcoat shit, Mike. It's just shit. Yeah, I definitely don't want the Action SJ12 side. If you're a patron, listen, I don't know what tier you're in, but you need to use the benefits that we give you, whether it's 1, 5, I don't care what the number is. Ask somebody. Ask a friend. Phone a friend. Phone a friend. You know what, Mike, though? If it is, which I actually was starting to more and more, I feel like I've seen that name before.
Yep.
Mike, here's what I'll say. If that was your takeaway from Mike telling you have to sell these players, he bullied you into a trade that you shouldn't have taken. There's have to move, and then there's for what price. And there's no flexibility over here other than Josh Downs, really. So that's one thing I would teach or give you a learning lesson on. I'll move Adams, man. I got to move him, but not for that.
He isn't even close to Downs, though.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's not for that offer. No, thank you.
And Higbee's worth more than the rest of that shit. All of it. Yeah. Every piece.
Isaiah Likely was out there for, almost the whole game.
I got no problem
with one target.
Devontae Adams and Higbee, right? If I'm in a rebuild, get the points off my team. But, you can't find somebody to give you a second? 2 seconds?
I guess maybe you think Josh Downs. Maybe Josh Downs' damn is worth 2 seconds. I don't know. I can't speak for the man, but
that's tough, man. That's a rough deal to end that one on.
Well, it's a learning lesson, Mike. I'll tell you what. We all make really bad trades, and I learn typically the most from my bad trades. So, hey, listen, we'll gas you up when you win, and we will let you know when you lose. And I think when you lose, those are the biggest learning lessons for me. And I think honestly, Mike, in a deal like this, yes, it's rough. But if this was one of the worst deals you ever made in Dynasty and you learn, you'll be perfectly fine in your big picture, right?
I made some bad moves when I first started out in Dynasty too, man.
Probably worse than this?
Moves.
Worse than this?
Horrible.
Worse than this,
yeah.
So
worse. Adam, one of the first moves I ever made in Dynasty was trading away Austin Eckler for a 3rd-round fucking pick. It still haunts me today.
And on that note, because we don't want to get canceled out here.
I can't even buy Austin Eckler back for a third.
We don't want to get canceled out here. If you want your deals featured on the show, patreon.com/South Harmon. If you want Mike to tell you how bad this deal looked on the back of him making terrible deals as well. Yes. I'm telling you, Brock Purdy sucks. Everyone still hates that he does that. That's the Patreon where you can get your deals featured on the show. If you just want to yell at us, you want to tell us, anything. I don't even care what it is. Good, bad, ugly. We want to hear it in the comments. Let us know in the comments. Mike, anything else before we dip up out of here, buddy?
No, just, I'm asking for your help. Like the video. Subscribe. Comment away. I'm like begging at this point.
Mike,
Do I got to buy a fucking Brock Purdy jersey?
Mike, do you realize that there are people that have decided that it doesn't matter what you do, Mike. They want to hate us. That's okay. Begging? Don't beg. Don't
maybe
beg
I'll start threatening.
Now, Mike, if you put the Brock Purdy jersey on, I can guarantee you the sub numbers go through the roof that week. Like, it just happens. Lock it in. Why don't you get one? Why don't you get one and see what happens? We'll try.
I don't know if they make one that's as sexy as this guy, though.
Oh, they do.
Tough.
They do. There's nothing bad about the Niners jersey, by the way. Oh, by the way, shout out to my guy, Stephen Hamer. Got me, his brother-in-law is Eric Armstead, got me a signed jersey. Just got it fresh. So going to get that up on the wall soon.
What's up, Eric?
Yeah, man.
Thank you. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see that when I come out to your crib next year.
Yeah, for sure. It won't be Debo. Like, see, the thing about this jersey here, Mike, is the jersey's fine, right, to the Purdy thing. Like, I don't like Debo. I'll never have a Debo jersey, but the Niners, I'm okay. I don't hate them.
That's fair. We're going to get to see Fizzle rocking an A.J. Brown jersey soon, so that'll be
Kelly
fun,
Green. And that's, whenever that is, I'm so excited for it. We will see you back here. Same time, same place. And before long, Fizzle's wearing that Kelly Green. We're out of this thing. Peace.